These are 7 new MetaQuest 3 games that you should play releasing this year. Some of the latest and greatest titles that look incredibly fun and also bring something new to the VR genre. Let's first start off with the Alien VR game. This was announced, I think, sort of late 2022. It's been confirmed that it exists, but we haven't had a huge amount of information about what it actually is. Hopefully this year we'll reveal a lot more, but this game is currently set between Aliens and Aliens 2, the actual, the movies. And if it's anything like the mod for Alien Isolation, this game is going to be incredibly cool. Now, Alien Isolation was one of the best Alien games ever made. One of my favorite games of all time. I love this on both the Xbox One, played it on the PC too. And to actually have a VR version of a similar style of game is going to be absolutely crazy. Obviously, it's going to be a survival horror based within a VR headset. And I think this style of game will lend itself perfectly to a native VR title, because obviously there was a mod for Alien Isolation, but that was just, retrofitting a VR headset into, a console port game. But if you think about how this game could operate within your Quest headset, whether that be the Quest 2 or Quest 3, you've obviously got hand tracking as an option for interacting with the world, but also the controllers. So you'll be able to hold up the heartbeat scanner and move that around to detect the alien, as well as use the flamethrower or whatever weapons they sort of add. Hopefully more will be revealed in the coming months. And this is one title that I will 1000% be playing. Now, on the topic of console ports, this next game is Bulletstorm VR, which is a old console game from back in the day. I actually got this game for 99p brand new in like a local supermarket, which was crazy. And it literally just launched on like the Xbox 360. Now, this game was originally meant to launch at the end of 2023, but it did get pushed back to early 2024 in order for the developers just to sort of polish off the game and do a much better job of it. But it is the exact same game that released back in 2011 on the Xbox 360, but now playable in VR. So Bulletstorm VR is an FPS shooter. There's a huge range of weapons that you'll be able to use. And also they've made it quite creative in how you can leverage the environments within the VR headset to traverse through the various levels. Now, this is a single player game. I do believe it has co-op as well, so you can play it with a friend, but you can expect to have an absolute blast just blowing up crazy different environments and taking out a bunch of AI. If the trailers are anything to judge by the quality of this game, the environments look absolutely fantastic and very detailed. And if the gameplay is anything similar to the Xbox 360 version, there's going to be quite a lot of approaches that you can do to particular levels. So you're not just shooting. You can blow certain things up. You can throw different objects. It should be quite a fun one. Now, next up, we've got another title ported over from console, and that is Power Wash Simulator. Now, this technically has already released just at the end of 2023, but the premise of this game works perfectly in VR. Now, obviously, Power Wash Simulator is very popular. It's a title available on Xbox Game Pass. It's been on the Steam store for a very long time, and it's one of those weird, relaxing games where you just literally clean the environments. But it takes it to a whole nother level with the MetaQuest 2 or MetaQuest 3 VR headsets. Within the virtual reality version of this game, you can obviously physically take control of the various power washing tools with your hands, and you can use it with the controller, so it's much more fun to actually play it, because one, you can see the environment right in front of you, like life size, so you can see you washing away all the dirt, but of course you can hold the controller and guns within your hands for actually spraying with a real trigger, so it's actually much more immersive. The MetaQuest 3 touch controllers let you blast away every single bit of dirt and grime within the levels, and of course you can get much more hands-on with the cleaning, because you can like lean in, bend down, go all over the level and really clean out all of the little crevices. There are some new features added for the MetaQuest 3 version. You can now customize your character's outfit and also select the exact equipment you want for each job. And the way that you do this is from the back of the van. So you can literally get all dressed and suited and booted from your actual van that you arrive on site with. Some other cool VR features is the ability to change nozzles on the fly with the all-new tool belt that's attached to your character. So once again, you can use the touch controllers to grab different attachments for your spray gun and throw them on and go about your cleaning. And if you don't want to play this game all on your own, it does also have co-op multiplayer, which lets you chill out with some friends and makes it much more fun. Now, this next game is one that's pretty ambitious and I think is going to be very good if done correctly, and that is Bootstrapped Island. Now, this is a survival game where you're a pirate. So basically there's been a shipwreck and you've been discarded onto this random island where you have to go about and actually survive on there. A little bit like a Stranded Deep. Obviously you crash in an aeroplane, I think, on that game, but it's based in pirate times. So you've got this huge island that you can go about to explore. It's got different things such as volcanoes and in-game events, and you can run up and down the beaches, build different environments and huts. And I just think survival games in VR is something that's quite cool and not really fully leveraged to the extent that it could be. Bootstrapped Island is a great place to start with this genre of survival games in virtual reality. It's a decent sized map, and the gameplay is relatively quite straightforward, but also very fun and immersive. Now, this game does have some more complex elements, including a dynamic day to night cycle, as well as randomized resources and consequences in the game that are outcome dependent on what decisions you actually make. The developers have also tried to make this very realistic with its 17th century setting, but also they've tried to reduce the amount of in-game menus that you have to use. So you literally like have to pick up a rock and smash like the lock on a chest, for example, and you have to like sort of clean and load up your weapon yourself with like gunpowder and all sorts of different things like that, instead of having like a little pop-up menu like press E to open the box. So that should make it a little bit better. Now, of course, the island isn't 100% safe. There are some AI that you have to watch out for, a little bit like in the forest. You've got those random people on the island that are basically trying to kill you. You can expect the same amount of survival horror adrenaline from this game as well. This next title leverages the next generation features of the MetaQuest 3, obviously the mixed reality, and this is Laser Dance. Laser Dance lets you turn your living room into an obstacle course. So it'll leverage the mixed reality camera, the pass-through camera on the headset, then it'll put all these different lasers that you have to go about and dodge. A little bit like in those spy movies, you know, where they're trying to break into a room or a bank or something, and then there's all these red lasers all over the place, and if they touch the laser, it'll alarm the security. Exact same premise right here. But obviously it's based in your living room and you have to avoid these virtual lasers. Personally, I think these mixed reality headsets on the Quest 3 are absolutely fantastic. I've mentioned a couple in the past. They're quite simple in terms of what they do, but the technology is quite groundbreaking. Like, think about how different everybody's house is and how different their living room layout is, and for them to be able to like use AI and also the full color pass-through camera to make these mixed reality experiences very well optimized across everybody's different environments is mightily impressive achievement. In fact, the same developer behind Laser Dance also made Cubism, which is another title that I've mentioned on this channel before, like a super simple game where you're almost like Tetris, you grab the little blocks and you throw them together to complete the levels. That also had a mixed reality update recently that allowed you to play those games on your desk in front of you with hand tracking and everything. Another ambitious title releasing this year is called Warp Labs. This gives me Portal vibes, but also with some enhancements to the overall gameplay. So essentially, it's sort of like a puzzle shooter explorer game, and you have this gun that allows you to shoot portals essentially into the level that you can then teleport through and takes you to somewhere else. This is the very first time that somebody has taken the portal mechanics and added them into a 3D environment within virtual reality. When the game releases, there will be 10 unique puzzles and also combat levels to complete, along with a physics sandbox mode that allows you an unlimited amount of experimentation with all of the in-game physics, and also an arena mode that lets you learn and explore how to use the portals in a combat situation. This is a single player game, but there is a global leaderboard in terms of how you sort of complete levels, so there is a little bit of fun and competition there if that's something that you want. Now, for the final title on this list, I actually want to give you two games because they are a little bit unconfirmed and we haven't really had any updates on them for quite some time. The first one is GTA San Andreas. Now, a few years ago, obviously Mark Zuckerberg announced San Andreas VR coming to the Quest headset. I think it was about 2 years ago now. Since then, we've not had any updates at all about what this could look like and when it is actually coming out. But obviously with the new MetaQuest 3 headset, we actually have some hardware that could fully leverage and provide an incredible experience with both graphics capability and performance for a title of this caliber. This is a game that I would love to see release. I hope that it does come out, obviously with GTA 6 on the horizon in 2 years' time. It would make sense for it to come out this year, otherwise it would clash with the GTA 6 release and then probably would never come out. So hopefully we get some more updates on that this year. And the other title is Onward II. Now, Onward was one of my personal favorite VR shooting games when I first got the Oculus CV1 way back in, I think, 2016. And they haven't released any sequel or any new version of that since then, which is almost 8 years ago. So they're still using the same game. Now, Mark Zuckerberg did also tease that there was like an Onward II in development coming out soon, but they are still very active in updating the old game, the original Onward, with new maps, new features, new improvements, and also obviously new patches for the more recent headsets that have released since the CV1. So it's sort of one of those games that has never even been announced, but we know is coming, but then also the way the development is acting makes you think it might not ever come. I would love to see an Onward 2 with a fresh approach, with maybe a new engine, a little bit like the GTA San Andreas is running on Unreal 5 engine. It would be great to see an update and refresh to the Onward games, so those also just feel a little bit more current time, and they can also add some new features and also gameplay and then obviously levels as well, just to make it a bit fresh. Because if you've been playing Onward since since 2015, 16. You know, you're sort of getting a little bit fatigued at this point of the exact same title all of the time. It's still a pretty solid FPS shooter within the VR headset. Obviously, there's been a bunch of other ones released since this game first came out, but it's still a solid, safe bet and worth picking up in a sale. Now, obviously, these are some of the best up-and-coming games releasing for the Meta Quest 3, but if you actually want to play some games that are out right now, you should check out this video next, where I break down some of the best games that you can download on your Quest 3 headset that leverage all of the next generation features. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more videos just like this in the future.